Morning, how y'all doing? Today is Thursday, June the 6th, and we're finally in the June flow, and I'm very excited. I don't know if you can see the bees, how they're doing, but they are going everywhere, busy as I've seen them all spring. So I'm excited for two reasons. One, because they're putting in some more honey, and two, because I don't look like a fool for predicting there was going to be a June flow. So I'm very excited to get in here and see what's going on. I've checked a few. I've checked Smithville, and they're doing pretty good and putting in. I added some supers over there. I think I got enough on here, but we'll see. We're gonna look in them today and see how they're doing. But I'm really excited. They're getting busy. This time of year that we hate to mow the yard. My yard is full of clover, and wife was getting on me last night, asking when I was gonna mow the grass. But I hate to mow this clover down. So I'm gonna let it go one more day because they are all over it. I think what they're getting is mainly clover. I'm sure there's some other stuff, but I don't know what that would be or what it is. So they're just really busy, and I'm glad about it. So finally, after almost a month of doing absolutely nothing in May, I don't know if this is a new normal but for the last 3 years, this is what they've done. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll get in here and see how they're doing. We'll go through a few hives. Be a little longer video, but we'll get to see how they're doing. So thanks for watching. Be right back. All right. This hive on 5:30 had one super. We pulled a super off of it, and it said super has brood. It's got one super, so this super had brood. What they're doing, what the bees are doing, and this may sound a little crazy, but I'm not crazy, I promise. But what they're doing is they fill this supers, a lot of the supers they filled with brood. I don't use queen excluders except on certain occasions. And when they fill a super with brood, that tells me that they're expecting more honey. And when that honey comes in, they'll fill that, when that brood hatches out, they'll, on their own, they'll fill that super with honey, nectar, and move that brood area down. That's just what they do. So to me, if they have brood up top, it's a sign that we're going to get a June flow, which we're getting right now. And if they earlier, at the end of April, the 1st of May, when we run into our little dearth, they were backfilling. So when brood would hatch out, they were filling it with nectar. That's a sign that we was going into a dearth. Bees can't tell the future any more than we can, but we can look to the west and see it's going to rain. We can get a wind from the south and know it's going to be hot. And the bees can tell what's going on and what to expect. So you can watch the bees. Another thing the bees will do is they usually, almost always, will never swarm when it's about to rain. So the bees know. I don't know if they use barometric pressure or what they use for that. But if bees are swarming, I've heard them call for rain and seen bees swarm and it won't rain. It's in the same way, if they're putting a brood in those top supers, they're expecting to get another flow, and they need the bees for it. And they've got them for this flow because these supers had brood in it. So bees can not tell the future, but see what's going to happen, just like we can when we look to the west and see the storm clouds. So we're going to get in here today. We've got, it just rained. There's a slight chance of rain today. There's a 30% chance of rain Saturday and Sunday. Today's Thursday. So we got several days of what looks like really good weather. It's not going to be hot. It's not going to be scorching hot. It's not going to scorch anything. Several days of good weather, and they should be putting in a lot in the next week or two. So the June flow, I think, is here. I think it's here to stay. I can't tell the future. All I can do is look at the bees. But if I'm predicting it, I think we got at least a couple weeks. And that's what usually happens of honey coming in here in north central Kentucky. So we'll get in here and see what's going on. My smoker ain't went out. Might get in here and the bees ain't doing nothing and be like, oh dang, the heck are you talking about? It's been so slow. Makes you wonder if the queens are any count or what. But we just been in a dearth for almost a whole month of May. We were in a dearth. All right, another thing they'll do is eat some of their honey. So this honey super. All right, this one's dry. We actually got 2 above a queen excluder, so I moved them down already. I had it marked on the top. Super has brood, and I had it marked 9 and 8, but I think I pulled one of those. I'm looking at this super here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames of honey. So I got 7 and 0. So they still got room, so we're good. I stuck my pen in my pocket that I wrote on the lids with the other day. Of course, I forgot to put it back in my jacket. What normally happens is I'll say, well, I'll put it back in my jacket later, and then I come back out here with my jacket on and I don't have my pen. But I'm starting to learn that if I don't put stuff back where it belongs, I can't find it. Should have learned that a long time ago, I guess. What did I say? 7 and 0. All right, that one's marked. All right, I'm gonna go back to the pocket. Maybe I'll remember this time. Next one has newly mated queen. Needs some time. It was 5:28. Let's see if we got any time. I left my rock for a spacer. Get another spacer over here. Give them a little airflow. There was a post online. It was either from today or yesterday, and had bees bearding, not just bearding, just all over the front, like they was either overcrowded or overheated. But they need ventilation. Got to have some ventilation. A lot of people say insulation. I say ventilation. All right, this one, newly mated queen on the 28th. More smoke. I can see they're moving out slowly. I've got a couple more frames to go. Got some pollen there. I see some drone brood. One thing you want to make sure when they're at the beginning of a flow like this is they've got room. That's pollen. An empty comb and nectar. Pollen, lots of pollen. Looking for eggs. You want to be careful not to squish a bee if you want to get them started. I don't know if it's a smell or pheromone or what they put out when you squish a bee, but if you squish one, they start stinging. Okay, I got eggs in here. This is the last frame I'm going to look at. And there's their queen right there. Nice looking queen. It's hatched out and started laying, so she's doing good. I'll go ahead and try to put a mark on her while I got her. If I can find a green paint pen. Got the wife's pen again. Don't go to the other side. Oh, don't go. Ah, gotcha. There he goes. It's coming out of dark green. All right. There she's marked. And grab her by her wings and then put her down gently. And she's good. She's in the middle of the frame, so I can go ahead and slide these together without worrying about squishing her. And I think she was on that next one over. Get off. I think I might give them a move a frame over here for them. They're almost pollen bound. They got tons of pollen. Give them an extra empty frame here that she can lay in. And then put this one on the outside just to give them a little room. They've got honey. They are a little small, but she, like I said, the 28th, they didn't have a queen. So they've requeened herself and they're looking really good. So we're just gonna put them back together. And they'll be a hive for next year. If they fill this out, during this flow, they filled out sun, I'll have to watch it. But it'll be a production hive for next year. Dang it. Oh, I put it in my pocket. I lost it already. So they're doing really good. They'll do good now with this flow. Put a 2-day queen cell on this one on 5/20. We should be able to check for a queen in here. Marked, I've heard a lot about 2-day queen cells. Over the year, Josh went to a bee school down at Kent Williams, down at Lake Barkley, and Kent was talking about him. I was watching Josh's video, and I had some queen cells in, so I went ahead and pulled, I think there was 5 of them out, and put them in 5 hives that needed queens. Just to kind of try them out. And see what would happen. Got nectar and pollen. There's some cleaned out cells ready for the queen to lay in. You can kind of tell in a hive if they have anticipation of a queen starting to lay, they'll leave cells cleaned up for her. There's a pollen frame. I got some scattered cat brood, a mixture of pollen, nectar, and some leftover cat brood. They seem to be doing good. They're kind of scattered though, they're not very organized. There's my cup, my queen cup. Make sure we're recording. I talked the other day for an hour and a half and forgot to hit record. Take my cell cup out of there. Framing nectar and pollen. There's a little short dumpy queen. Not sure what she's doing. Well, I got my eyeball on her. Man, she's short. You almost gotta keep watching because you'll lose her, especially one like that. She's going around the other side. because she's not much bigger than the rest of the bees, and she's dark. Oh, don't squish her. This will make her a lot easier to spot. I got my doubts about her though, because she's awful little. Very small. And I don't see no eggs. Alright, so there she is. At their bright green dot. I'm going to give her a little more time before I pressure her too bad. The hive looks pretty good. It's a little bit disorganized, but it looks healthy. Got a lot of bees, no sign of a laying worker. Everything seems to be in the right order. They got plenty of room. So this flow will help them out. Hopefully they'll take off and run with her, and she'll fatten up. Marked short queen green, no eggs. Alright, this one removed queen excluder between two deeps and removed supers. Alright, they got 1, 2, got 5 frames there in the middle, it looks like. So they still got room to expand. I'm going to let them. Another thing you got to watch for is the time of year. If this was early spring, I might go ahead and give them a honey super, but right now I'd be satisfied if they get this filled out, and they are really trying. They're drawing out that comb on the acorn foundation and looking really good. So this flow, this one and that one we checked 2 hives ago, with this flow really help them a lot. I now have to keep a close eye. If this flow lasts very long, these will be needing a super. Oh, look at all them drones. My gosh. There's still plenty of drones out. I need to raise some queens. It's hard to tell how good your queens are when you ain't got a flow in the month of May, which I'm still sour about. But it makes you think when my queens are sucking. When it's not necessarily that, it's you got a dearth in the month of May. So, but these need to fill out all this. Get all this filled out, and then we'll give them some more room. But they're working on it, looking good, so we'll put them back together. So I got a little more than 5. I'll mark them down as 7. Seven frame. Looks good. All right, this one had 2, I just remember, which is unusual, but it had 2, the blue and the wood super there had brood in them, and I put empty supers, the purple and the yellow, on top of them, expecting this June flow. So we'll see what they're doing with it. Looks like they're up there. I'm just gonna lift it and check for weight, and then I can check the other one too. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're putting honey in both of those. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them fill up all 4. That'd be good for a June flow, wouldn't it? I'm gonna let them be so I don't disturb them too bad. Got the purple honey super and a plastic queen excluder. I can tell they're up here too. They're working on the honey super. I get an idea of how much they got. They're really working on it. If it's mostly empty, I'll leave it, but if it's mostly full, I need to put another super on there. And it's mostly empty, but they're sure filling it quick. So I have to keep an eye out. If it was spring again, I'd add another honey stripper, but being as this is it's a flow, but it's our last flow. Whatever they do now, they're probably gonna fill that up. I would say. I would bet next time I come back, if I wait a week, I may have missed some honey, but we'll see. We're gonna put on this and how full the super is. It's quarter full. So we'll watch out for that. This is a nuke over here. They're finally showing some signs of life. We might have to put them in a regular box. They took a while. I think their queen didn't take. I think when I made a lot of these splits, and I know I made them early, and I know it's probably my fault, but they didn't get mated as good as they should. So they haven't taken off as quick as I would have suspected. But this one is finally reached. You know, if I was selling it, I wouldn't mind selling that. They've got a little bird comb. That's one like you would like to sell. It's good and healthy, it looks like, and doing good. Just looking at that, I can tell they're calm. I would say they've got a good queen, and like I say, they need a bigger box. Let me see if I can find a bottom board in a box. All right, we're gonna go ahead and transfer these. So we're gonna take that super down, put our full-size box with a feeder, division board feeder in it, and down there, and we'll set them to the side as we do it. See if I can get you where you can see over there. It's been slow going out here. You know, I've been checking them for a month, and there's not been any signs of really growth, you know, anything, because it didn't have a flow. So it's good to see some stuff going on finally. Oh, come on. Take his feeder out. With several days of sunny weather, we've had this is probably the second day of this flow. But you got to be careful when to check the bees. If I'm wanting them to put in honey, I won't check them until I think it's over. So if we've had 5 sunny days, and it's going to rain on the 6th, well, I'll let them work all day on that 5th day, and then on the 6th day, I'll go ahead and pull the honey off, so I'm hopefully not missing any honey. You know, when you think about it, the bees only have a few days to collect what they're going to collect. Yeah, this is full of eggs. Full of eggs and looking good. You know, because, you know, 10 days it might rain 4 or 5 of them, so they only got 5 days they're collecting, and then they don't collect all morning. They don't really get busy until the afternoon, so they do a whole lot in only a little time. So if you go in there and mess them up, you really miss out on a lot. That's the reason we need to switch this over to a big box. That frame of brood right there, if I left them in there, they would swarm. Anytime you see brood corner to corner, it's a sign, another sign. And the sign it is a sign that they're going to swarm. This frame of brood like that would be 3 frames of bees once they hatch, once they emerge. Yeah, they're doing really good. There's some wonky comb on my acorn I brag about so much. There, Jake, I told you, acorn wouldn't work. No, it works really good 90% of the time. Oh, I just squashed that bee. More brood and some hatching brood. And more wonky comb. Probably gonna leave that feeder out now because I think, get off of me. That ain't supposed to happen. They ain't supposed to stain it. They're drawing out this side. They're doing good. I know there's nectar to be put in, so I'm gonna let them put in the nectar. I'm not gonna put a feeder in right now. Try to find some good comb. I'll put 2 over here. Put a good comb close to them. And then the comb they have to draw out, we'll put a little further out. That was probably, and it's nothing, not because of my immense skill or anything like that, but just pure luck at the time we come out. But that was probably perfect timing on moving that nuke to a 10 frame. That's about the way you want them to look. A cat brood and a bunch of bees. So that'll work out good. Get in there. All right, now I need a inner cover. Probably should have already got that. Inner cover and an outer cover. Spend a lot of time working on these bees, and it's hard to know what you need, and you got to run and get stuff. But for what they give back, I think it's more than worth it. You know, you can do a lot of farming, different kinds of farming, and you know, you can make money on cows, raise soybean and corn. That's all. Queen excluders. Queen excluders. I think I got all my inner covers in the back. I got one here. But you can raise soybean and cows and all that stuff, and you're limited. You know, you got to have a lot of acres to raise corn and soybeans, and you got to have a lot of acres if you're going to raise cows. I figured it one time just looking at everything. It's about roughly $300 an acre. But with bees, I'm not limited. I can have about as many as I want, or many as I want to try to fool with. It's just not limited. And if you do a good job, you'll make a lot more money. I'll pass everything right up. Make a lot more money on your bees. It's just not, for me, And I know people enjoy raising cows and doing other stuff, chickens, all that stuff, but for, you know, it's a hobby. These things are hobbies. And for me, I love raising chickens. We had 100 chickens at one time. I might change this cover out, but I'm gonna put that on it for now. But I hate, you know, you gotta feed them and water them every day, make sure the water's not frozen in the wintertime. It's a daily chore. And this is too at certain times of the year, but then again, it's not. I find it more, it's sustainable because it makes me money back. I can make some money back off of them. You know, we had cows and we've had goats and we've had chickens, and we had a big garden and worked at the farmer's market and sold tomatoes and green beans and sweet corn. But this is more, I enjoy doing this more, and totally separate, you make a lot more money doing this. I make pennies, you know, for the time spent, pennies on the hour doing tomatoes and green beans. And while this ain't, I don't expect to get no mansion out of it, I make a lot more than I would selling vegetables or doing other stuff. So I just really enjoy it. All right, get my notes made on that one. Now I got everything sitting in the way. All right, my super duper microphone battery went out. It's a rechargeable microphone, and it died. So I'm gonna finish this one up doing a voiceover. Just showing the last hive here. I think we skipped one. It wasn't too much going on, but this one had a deep. I put the shallow. It was full of brood. Had most of the stuff in the shallow purple super there. I put it on the bottom, hoping they would move up into this top. They just hadn't had anything to move up with. So just showing the two frames, bees on the two frames that are up there. Hopefully in this float we're having now, they'll be able to go ahead and fill that up, and maybe I can go ahead and rotate it down and get some honey out of that super and get it off there. But I don't know, it's not looking promising. It's probably going to have to overwinter with that super on it, which I hate to do, but sometimes it happens. You got to do what you got to do. But I try to keep the overwintering boxes to only deeps and not winter shallows, but that's just the way it works out sometimes. So just closing up this hive and finishing up, and here you see I'm ready to do my closing statements and lay some knowledge on y'all as I look off into the distance and tell you about all the expert beekeeping skills that got us to this point. But no, I was saying when the microphone went out that a lot of stuff gets piled up behind the hives there, and it's handy to have some stuff back there when you need it. But at some point you got to stop and clean it up. So it's walking the line again. So anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for staying to the end, and I'll see you on the next video.